Good afternoon and welcome to Building Your Brand Through Facebook. My name is Bethany Hartley and I will be your presenter today. And I just want to say happy Halloween to everybody. Today we're going to be going through 4 different things about Facebook for your business and how to brand your business through Facebook. The first one being who is actually on Facebook, who could be your audience out there on Facebook right now. Is it feasible for your business to be on Facebook? You know, everybody thinks they have to have their business on Facebook, but that might not be the case for you. Then we're going to look at the function. I'm going to give you some examples of how to use Facebook and walk you through a few things. And then further is going to be different tips and tools and websites that will help you after this webinar implement some of these ideas that we give you. So first we're going to just do a little webinar housekeeping. If you cannot hear me, go ahead and click the hand raise to raise your hand, and our tech person will send you a pin to get you all set up here. Okay. For question and answers, they're going to be at the end of the presentation, and if you want to talk, you need to go ahead and go to a quiet room, because I will unmute you for those questions. You all are on mute right now, but it's really distracting for others if you have a lot of noise in the background. And also, every slide has a slide number in the bottom right corner. If there's something specific you have a question about, go ahead and reference that slide number and we'll go back there. And also, please take notes throughout the presentation, and let's get started. Okay, so first off, who is on Facebook? So there are 901 million active users on Facebook right now, and giving about 3.2 billion likes and comments per day, which compared to Twitter receives about 400 million tweets a day. So it's a huge market out there, and there are about 11 million businesses. So I want to ask a poll question really quick, and all you have to do, you'll see it pop up on your page or on your screen, and go ahead and answer. I want to know, does your business currently have Facebook? Is your business on Facebook? So go ahead and enter those answers. Okay. Give it a couple more seconds here, and then I'll share the results with you guys. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close the poll, and you should be able to see up on your screen right now. About 67% of you said yes, you do have a Facebook page. So this is going to be really helpful for you in determining what you should be putting on that page. And if you don't, this will help you determine if you should be on. And if you've already made up your mind that you're going to be on Facebook, this will definitely help you out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hide that. So we're going to keep going through this presentation. So if you look, Facebook is about 60% female, 40% male. Comparative to other social media sites, it's pretty on, except for Pinterest, which is about 95% female in the US, and actually over in Europe, it's predominantly male, Pinterest is, which is kind of interesting. So as we look, this is who we see on Facebook. So now the question is, should your business be on Facebook? Well, can you offer a discount? Can you provide expertise to add value? And can you post pictures created by or about your company? This is a legal question as well as a logistics question. You know, some businesses legally can't share some of their information, so you really need to think about that when you are thinking about content to put up on your pages, and that goes for any social media site. If you're providing a service or if you're a consultant, can you provide expertise? Can you post videos on your Facebook page of your expertise? And offering a discount. Could you give a 10% off coupon for a tangible good or a service on Facebook? So think about those things when you are thinking about Facebook. For me, B2B, if you're a B2B business, I really strongly urge you to look into LinkedIn, which we will have a webinar on that in a couple of weeks. It seems most people get their leads and clients for B2B business on LinkedIn if they are using social media. Whereas for Facebook, if you think about it, you would be using, you know, possibly your personal self to connect with people on Facebook, and it's not common practice to reach out to business contacts and connect on Facebook with people you don't already know. So I strongly recommend that if you're B2B to really think more along the lines of LinkedIn. And that can help you if you're service B2B, where you can give speaking engagements and everything along those lines. B2C, absolutely. Business to consumer, you should be on Facebook, but not until you've updated your website, because the whole purpose of all social media is to drive people to your website, then drive sales. So if your website is extremely out of date, you need to update that first and foremost. That should be so important. And sometimes people ask, well, what is the relevancy of having a website if I have a Facebook? The point is that your Facebook drives to your website. Your Twitter drives to your website. The more you're out there, the more you touch your clients, the more consumers get to know about you. So definitely update your website first and foremost. You need to have a purpose and a plan for your Facebook page. You know, what is the purpose? What is your mission for your Facebook page? Do you want to add followers? Do you want to add brand awareness? And I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to put a poll out there. What is the most important goal you have for your Facebook page? So go ahead and answer that. And if you don't have an answer, just put I don't have a goal yet, because I'd be curious to see what you guys think. And as you guys are answering this, you want to make sure that you have content to put on your Facebook page. You want to make sure that you can post something different on your Facebook page than if you're using Twitter or LinkedIn or Google+, that you have various content for all of those. You don't want to keep putting the same content on every page, because what is the point of people following you on each platform? So we're just going to wait a couple seconds here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and close that, and I'll share the results with you guys. So it's interesting, increasing brand awareness is the predominant one at 40%, which I think is really great, because that means you have an idea of what Facebook really is used for. Getting more fans, you know, having the more fans is not necessarily a good thing. They need to be quality fans, which is where brand awareness comes in. You want fans that are going to engage with you, not necessarily have 10,000 fans that you paid for. So really think about that, because once you have those quality fans, then you will grow organically, because those followers will be advocates for your brand and your business. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that, and we're going to move on. So how can your business use Facebook? First, create an incentive or an offer. It's the #1 reason people become fans. For example, share something. I'll show you a couple examples, but an idea, you know, share, 10% off to all my Facebook fans, or buy one get one free. It's the reason people come to your page, but you want to intersperse those with valuable content. So don't make every post an incentive or an offer, because people get tired of that, and they'll burn out on your brand. Create an app, and again, I'll give you an example after we go through these. An app on Facebook allows users to stay on your Facebook page without having to go to your website. And I know we want to push people to your website inevitably, but if there's something that you can test in Facebook, it's a really good idea to try and do that. It's less clicks. There's something called the grandma test, which is a 3-click maximum. If people can't purchase within 3 clicks, they're going to walk away typically. So creating an app within Facebook drives engagement and drives sales. Once they're engaged, like I said, I'll show you an example of where those are located. But you can put within an app, you can put a contest. Actually, you have to put a contest in an application. You cannot put a contest on your wall. And you can have people submit pictures, which you can use throughout everything. If you can get your clients to generate content for you, that'll save you a lot of time, and it'll add a lot of value to your brand. And then the last thing is update with relevant information. Not everything needs to be completely on brand, but you need to think about who your client is. If you own a restaurant, maybe you give an update on the latest regulations or something that would be of interest. Or if you're just opening, put a picture of your plate up, and or your plate of the day, and do ask questions, ask what people are interested in, really engage them and keep it relevant in terms of your industry, and that'll definitely keep people engaged. So here's an example that I pulled off of my own Facebook. This is a company called Country Outfitter. I am not a fan of it, but as you can see, I'll go ahead and highlight here. Right here, 12 of my friends are a fan of this Country Outfitter. I didn't know what this was when I came to this page, but because of this is actually called social collateral. These 12 friends, because of them, I decided to look at the page. And by looking at the page, I found that they have boots, apparently, Western boots in particular. And you can tell that because of first, there's this incentive picture here along the side. And there's also their likes. So this page, as a business, likes these 5 pages and more. But I will tell you, you can customize what 5 pages are at the top of your likes on your business page if you go into the settings. So by doing this for a business, it shows me that these are probably the brands that they carry. And then I know what they're selling. It also, for example, if you want to create an incentive with creating partnerships with other businesses, you can tell them, I'll put you in my top 5 likes because people do click on these. Again, it has to do with the social collateral, or if it's of interest to them, because these people that like this page probably like Justin Boots. So they'll go through and continue clicking. And that just raises brand awareness for both of you. So keep that in mind with other community stores or shops, if you're a small business like that, to use that as an incentive to connect with people. Something else I want to point out here is their post. This is an incentive and offer. They ran a contest, and Monica R. from Washington won it. But they also offered up to everyone else, here's $10 off and free shipping. That creates brand loyalty. It's not a big expense to the company, and it adds a lot of awareness to them. So these are a lot of good things going on about this Country Outfitters. Another example, I'm going to show you where the apps are. This is the WBDC Facebook page. So what's important to look at here is the size of your cover picture. Every page now has a cover picture since they switched over to timeline, which is the layout of the Facebook pages now. So this right here is the cover picture. You see that it's actually literally a picture, but you could also make it a graphic if you use just Paint or Photoshop. It's 850 pixels wide and 315 pixels tall. It needs to be something eye-catching and relevant and timely. Something to keep in mind is, Facebook has a lot of regulations in regards to what you can put up on your cover picture, how you run contests and everything like that. So be sure to look into those on the Facebook page, and you'll see it when you have your business page. They give a lot of information when you sign up for that. So something to keep in mind here is, for example, this picture will probably come down in the next week. Facebook recommends you change it every 2 weeks, but people don't tend to have enough time to do that. So it's wishful thinking, and it would be nice, but if you just want to make sure that it projects your brand clearly and is eye-catching, because it is the first thing people see. So another thing I'd like to point out are the apps. So apps is a very loosely used term. People use apps when they refer to mobile and iTunes and all that. Apps within Facebook are right here, the circled items. So photos, for example, that's an application. Award winners, social tab, those are customized that I created using a program that I'll give you the link to later. They were simple drag and drop. For the award winners, if you were to click through that, you would see profiles, videos, pictures of our award winners from our conference this year. The photos, everybody has this application. It's all your photos that you post. And I'll give you some examples of good photos to post. And they show up on our news feed. The Join My List is our constant contact sign up for our email, because we don't want this to just people go here and bounce away. We want them to do something. So the Join My List allows them to sign up for our emails, and that creates continued engagement. Email marketing is still the largest e-marketing out there, above any social media page. Your likes can be found right here underneath our name. So at the time I took the screenshot, we had 1,858 likes, 51 people talking about it, and 28 were here. I'm going to show you a little bit about analytic or insights later on, so I'll kind of explain what that means in terms of who's talking about it and so on. So if we look at this is our timeline for the Women's Business Development Center, and something I want to point out too is our icon, which is this this W, which is a part of our new rebranded logo. And the reason we did that is because with any of these platforms, you need to have a square logo. So keep that in mind when you're branding, that it needs to be square, so it's easy to put in there. We weren't going to put in our full logo into that small little square because you wouldn't be able to read it. So it's really nice to be able to have an icon that relates to your brand. So now I want you to look at the picture that it says 404 pixels wide by 404 pixels tall. Every picture we post, pretty much, unless it's in a photo album or pictures from an event, is that size, because that is the size of that timeline column. Because there are two columns running along the timeline. And this one is just talking about, you know, it has words and a picture. It's engaging, and we had a lot of feedback from it. Also, with that picture, I posted a little comment saying Happy Women in Small Business Month with a link. That link will take you to a blog post. So it's not just a link, because engagement rates significantly raise when you post a picture with the link, but make it relevant to each other. Don't post a picture of a dog and talk about your soup of the day. That doesn't make any sense, and it might scare people. And then if you look on the right-hand side, there's the the left-hand column. There's the fill in the blank, which is a great way to engage people as well. As you can see, we had 6 comments. All of those likes for those comments are ours. And you want to make sure that you do that in a timely manner. This post also had 1 share and 2 people like it. And it had 576 people see it, which is a great return. For 1,800 people being fans and having over 500 see it, that's really, really nice and very good and very high. So it's really nice to keep engagement. Something to keep in mind, the life of a post is about 3 hours. So think about that when you go to post. I know a lot of times small business owners tend to get really excited because they take a lot of pictures. So they tend to try and post all those pictures all at once on their wall. Well, then they tend to overlap each other, and they don't keep the longevity that they should. So I highly recommend spacing things out. You know, maybe you just got a product in or something, take a lot of pictures of it, but only post 1 at a time. Because after 3 hours, people probably aren't going to see it. It's called a dead post. If you think about your timeline, typically, you know, it's being constantly updated. People have a lot of friends. People fan a lot of things. So that's why you want to make sure you post an eye-catching picture and space them out when you go to post them. So here are a few examples of pictures that we posted. And again, I've used both Paint and Adobe Photoshop Elements. I recommend both. For the one on the left, this was just an engaging, I mean, this had a huge response. A lot of people put who they thought it was. And you know what we sent them? We sent them books. We sent them a book of the writer. And if you don't know who this is, it's Terry Savage. She does our moderation for the Entrepreneurial Women's Conference. And so we sent them her book, Terry Savage's book. And it was just a nice way to engage people and make sure they're listening to us. The one on the right is the co-founders of the WBDC. They are on a Harley, or a motorcycle, I'm sorry, I don't know if it's a Harley. And it's just basically, if people have a question, post it below. And from that question, what we did was we put that question into our email blast, and then we gave an answer to that question. So not only did our 1,800 fans see the question, but also our 10,000 subscribers to our email address, or emails. So it has, you can cross-populate your content into all of your platforms, and really make sure you are very clear in what you want your followers to do. You want them to share a picture, tell them to share it. You want them to like it, tell them to like it, because people are busy and they don't like to read. So make sure it's one of your first words, one of your first action words in your statuses and in your updates. And as you can see, on the picture on the left, that's our icon again. So if people share this away from our page, our icon's still there. And eventually, people will become more and more familiar with it. If you notice on pretty much every slide in this presentation, the icon is in the top right. That is part of your branding strategy. Make sure people see it, or else it's irrelevant. So now we're going to go on to insights in Facebook. I want you to look closely here. So this is what you see as the administrator of your Facebook page. This is above your cover picture. If you are an administrator of your business page, above your cover picture there's an option. It says show or hide, and we are showing. So your option you see here says hide. So what you're seeing right here is notifications. So these people liked, commented something with our material, and that's in the top left right there. In the top right are messages. This is a new thing within the last year, that people can message you. You as a business cannot start a conversation with an individual, but you can receive messages and questions from people. I will say we have received a lot of spam, but at the same time we do get relevant questions that people have, and you can direct them in whatever way. And if you think it's a question a lot of people might have, maybe post that question on your Facebook page and answer it publicly so people don't keep asking the same question. On the bottom left here under new likes, these are people that have liked the page, and you can see how long ago they liked it. So if you send out an email, say I sent out an email 20 hours ago, I can see that probably these 3 people came from my email to my Facebook. And that's a really important thing. If you have an email list that you're building, include your links to your Facebook pages. Include it as a resource. We use our Facebook page with photo albums. That's where all of our photos are posted. We don't post hundreds of photos on our website because we want people to go to the Facebook page to look at them, to interact with them, to tag themselves in them. So then in the center bottom column, it says Insights, and that's where we're going to go through a little bit next. And then it gives you these page tips, which is just standard stuff from Facebook. So as we go into the Insights, this is about our posts. And I pulled up all 3 of the windows that you would see if you clicked on this reach, engaged, and talking about this. So 261 unique individuals were reached by this post, and the post we pulled up for was actually that picture I showed you with the October Women in Small Business Month. So 261 individuals saw this. 39 were engaged, which means they clicked through something on that Facebook page or on that post. And something to mention about that post is actually the link I posted was a bad link. Someone commented and said the link doesn't work. So I in turn went back and put a new link and said thank you for pointing that out. You know, you need to respond to your users. Don't ignore it. Make sure you're responsive. Or if you're not doing it, if someone's doing it for you, make sure they are responsive. And so then if you look as well, this talking about this, 21 talking about this, they determine this, all of this is determined through Facebook's EdgeRank API. So it's really hard to tell you how they calculate this, but I know they recently redid it because they now have promoted posts, which you pay to have your posts show up in certain things. And I personally, as a social media user, don't recommend paying for things if you don't need to. You just try and drive organically first and maybe think about it down the road, but think about yourself personally. Do you click on those ads? Probably not. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about buying AdWords campaigns. So this just kind of gives you a little more insight. As you can see with the 261, none of them are from paid. Some are viral, which means someone saw it on someone else's page, a friend of a friend sort of thing, which is where that social collateral comes in handy, which is why people love using social media, because I trust my friend over a commercial that I see on TV, which has become the really relevant part of using social media for marketing. So here are more insights about that you can see within Facebook, and I'll tell you, Facebook Insights are really intuitive. You can export all this to Excel. You can use this when you go to look at marketing strategies, you know, how do you want to leverage this sort of thing. So talking about this, as it says right there, I literally pulled this up. This is all of our stories within the last month, pretty much. And so we dipped below 45. For the most part, we stayed above, which is it's a nice number for us. And people always ask, well, what's a good rate? It really depends on your business. And if you start at nothing, then something is better than nothing. You shouldn't compare yourselves to other pages, I don't think, because then you get lost in trying to gain fans and gain engagement. Really think about your content, because your content will drive that engagement and your likes. So the viral reach, you can also see from those between like 45 and 90 people, 350 to 700 people saw it. So that's, again, the friend of a friend idea. And that's where posting pictures with words in them, as opposed to just posting a status update, is far more valuable, because people will take those pictures and continually posting them. I'm sure you guys have all seen that, where it's just a stream of posting pictures. So that's kind of what insights look like. And you can just definitely, I would recommend, if you have a page, keep exploring it. Go through, and it's really hard to make mistakes on insights. You'll see information, and you'll see what is relevant to you and what you want to see. They also break it down by demographics and that sort of thing, so you can look at who's looking at your page. All right, so now we're going to look at different tools for your business. So this is just kind of reiterating what I've already said. You want to post pictures with 100 words or less of text accompanying it. So post a picture and post the status with 100 words or less seems to have the highest engagement. Don't use URL shorteners. This is something people are using a lot of, especially in Twitter, which in Twitter I think it's fine because you only have 140 characters. But in Facebook, if you think about it, a lot of people use their mobile devices. When you're on a mobile phone, you can't see what that bit.ly, if you go to bit.ly, bit.ly, you'll see what I'm talking about a little bit more. It shortens any link you have if you're not familiar. The same can be done in Hootsuite, which we'll talk about more in the Twitter one as well. But people want to know what they're clicking on, so they can't preview the site that they're going to click through to with this bit.ly. So giving them the original URL, like wbdc.org/upcoming events, that lets them know that's where they're going to click through to. So keep that in mind when you're posting. Post at optimal times. This is from a couple different studies. It's from HubSpot, from Mashable. This seems to be the best times, between 1 and 3 p.m. on Thursdays and Fridays. It's especially a sweet spot for, entertainment, retail stores, restaurants, because people are looking, what do I want to do for the weekend? If you think about it, around, 3 in the afternoon on a Thursday and Friday, you start to wander away from your work a little more and start to look at what's going to happen after work, what's going to happen on the weekend. So this is when you want to start posting more, or not more, but frequently. But you also need to test it in your market. What are your fans engaging to and relating to? It might not be between 1 and 3 p.m. So I would test it on your page. This is what has been proven to work for the majority of businesses. So I'm going to give you a couple of resources to take with you. GrowSocial.com is that app builder I was talking about that we built our tabs in. You can build contests in. You can have people sign up for different things in these applications, and it's really literally a drag and drop. There's no HTML involved. There are a few steps to get it connected with your Facebook page, but they walk you through it very nicely. So I definitely recommend. I think it's like $9.99 a month. It's pretty inexpensive, and you have to have some sort of app builder to post different contests or have customizable tabs. So now the socialmediaexaminer.com, this provides, this provides a lot of resources and tips. It's a very, very useful website. I highly recommend you checking it out. It gives you everything you could possibly need about any social media site. And then to measure your return on investment, HubSpot.com has really great reports and reporting and tools to use. It is a little more expensive, but from what I understand, it's worth it when you're ready to take your social media to the next step. and Google Analytics. If you have a website, which you all should before you get Facebook for your business, you should have Google Analytics on your website. From there, you can see where people are coming from. So, for example, on our website, we can see that Facebook is the #1 social site sending traffic to our website, hands down. So it's a really good way to see, are my efforts working? And you can also do that through different surveys and that sort of thing. For example, we do a survey at the end of our big conference that I spoke of that we ask people how did they hear about it, and you'll see in the survey that you guys are going to do, how did you hear about this, you know? And a lot of times we do get a few that are from social media alone. And knowing that that cost us nothing is huge. I mean, it's just cost in time, but not monetary. So looking ahead for Facebook, things to look at. Lists. You can now create lists as an individual, and people can add your business to a list. So that's something to look ahead to. It hasn't really taken off, so that's why I didn't cover it too much. As well as collections. Collections are really within the last month. I recommend looking at Crate and Barrel. What collections are? They're the Facebook answer to Pinterest. So if you are on Pinterest, if you're familiar, you know you pin different pictures. Well, that's kind of what collections are. You can add things to a collection. If you're a brand or a product or a service, I think it's actually product oriented, you can have your customers add pictures of your products to a collection. And I don't know if it'll replace Pinterest, but it's something they're testing out, and only a few pages have it right now. You have to be in the bigger categories. So I definitely recommend looking into that, though, if you are have consumable goods. So I hope you wrote all these down, and now we're going to go into the Q&A portion. So if you have questions, I'm going to ask that you raise your hand, and I will go ahead and unmute you, and we'll go from there. Let me see here. Okay, so one of the questions is about the presentation. So the slides will actually be emailed. Well, basically we're going to send you a survey. Once you complete the survey, you get the entire presentation, the PDF. We're still figuring out about posting the presentations with all the audio. We're working on that. So you will get a copy of the presentation, though. Okay, hold on one second. C. Collins, I'm going to unmute you, so if you please be in a quiet room. Hi, C. Collins. I think you might have muted yourself, maybe. Well, I'll leave them unmuted or her unmuted, and if you can figure it out, go ahead and start talking. I'm going to look at some of the other questions. Is there an app that's best for getting donations from Facebook? I don't know if there's actually one specific for getting donations, but within something like Grow Social, you can, wherever you collect donations through, say for instance, if you do it through PayPal or something like that, they can give you the coding to put into something like a Grow Social page. So then you can customize exactly how it looks. I personally don't know about one. We don't collect donations through our Facebook page. So that's funny. There's a couple questions about that. So yeah, I would look into creating, using something like Grow Social, creating a page within there and then customizing it, because you can easily, I'm sure, copy the HTML from PayPal and put it into your Facebook page. And something else I should note about Grow Social, which, by the way, we are in no way affiliated with them. I just have used the tool and find it really helpful. is that they also create custom cover pages. So you kind of drag and drop what you want in the cover picture, and it'll help you do that. So that is another benefit, as well as it'll create custom backgrounds for your Twitter pages. Okay, so one of the other questions is, how do you utilize your personal Facebook account for your business account? This is from Susan. Susan, personally, I do not recommend, and I've helped a lot of clients in the past with this. I do not recommend connecting the two, to be honest. I know there are a lot of small businesses out there that the owners and workers will promote by sharing statuses or liking statuses of their business, but please keep in mind that when you do that, people that are fans of your page see that, and you don't know everybody that's a client, or you won't once you get huge, you know. So you might not want to put those two together. I think it's really important to keep a divide there. I do think, though, when you post on your Facebook business page, that you should definitely put up who is responding. And I meant to show you that on one of the slides, but if I respond to a question on Facebook under the WBDC, I will a lot of times sign it with my name, with Bethany. So I recommend doing that, and I recommend on your personal page to definitely all your friends and family to tell them, hey, I have this Facebook page, please check it out, you know, take a look, that sort of thing. But I wouldn't, those are coming from your personal to your professional. I wouldn't move your professionals into your personal. I don't think that's a good idea. So I hope that helped you answer that question. Jean, your question about not being able to attend the webinar on November 14th, there will probably be another webinar in the late spring. I can try and send you some resources in the meantime and see what we can do for you. Okay, C. Collins, you asked on here. So what do you recommend is the best way for one to become better educated on how to use Facebook for their business in addition to these webinars? So something I recommend is checking out those pages, which was socialmediaexaminer.com, and what was the other one? One is HubSpot.com, and also Mashable. And marketingprofs.com. And that is really helpful. And they do a lot of little series. You could also YouTube videos and see what comes up. Honestly, the best way I think people learn is trial and error. I wouldn't try putting out different posts and that sort of thing necessarily, but at least try and error so you know how to navigate through the pages. And also looking at what bigger companies are doing. For example, Coca-Cola, they have a great business page. It's beautiful, it's well informed, it's well-rounded, they have a lot going on. So maybe think about who a large company that might be doing something similar to what you're doing or in the same industry, and look at how they're doing successfully. You know, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. So I would definitely recommend looking at that. So that's, there are other outlets for sure, and you know, in the summer I think we're probably going to do another hands-on course where people bring their computers in. We did that this past summer and it was really successful, and I think people got a lot out of it. But yeah, I would definitely check out those resources: Mashable, socialmediaexaminer.com, and oh, what was the other one? I already forgot it. The third one that I mentioned. Okay, does WBDC offer one-on-one consultations for social media assistance? At this time, Myra, we do not. We integrated it with a lot of our workshops, and there are very capable counselors here, and every once in a while I do get called in. I am personally not a counselor, but if there's an exact question, then I try and help as much as possible. Okay, how do you organize the tabs on your Facebook page? So you can actually, I'm going to go back here to show you where the apps are again. Okay, so you see where the apps are. If you you see the number 9 here with the arrow down? If you click on that, you'll see all the rest of them, and then there's a little icon, a little edit icon, that you can move them around and move them up and down and that sort of thing. So you can change who's in this top 4, because we have 9 other tabs that are down there, but they're not as important to us as these 4. So if you just click, if you're on your profile or on your business page, go ahead and do that. In terms of how to change who are the featured likes, let me go back here. Okay, so these likes right here, again, there should be, when you're on your business page, there should be, you see where the see all is? I think there's a little edit icon there, and you should be able to edit which ones. Or if I'm not correct there, if you go to your settings on your business page, then you it'll say set featured likes or something along those lines that you can mix and match who those are. Something I should say, because I didn't cover this earlier, is that if you want to like another business page as your business page, make sure, let me go back to this here. Oh wait. Okay, if you look up here at the top, it says you are posting, commenting, and liking as Women's Business Development Center changed to Bethany Hartley. I don't think that's true when you go, it isn't true when you go onto other business pages. So if I want to go to a different business page, say I want to go to Axion Chicago, so I go to their business page and I want to like them as the Women's Business Development Center, then I'm going to make sure that if you, where is that tab? It is, sorry, let me find it in this work or in this webinar. Okay, if you go to manage page, something will, or yeah, if you go to manage page, something will drop down that will say, oh no, I'm sorry, it's right here. If you go to edit page, which is at the top of your screen when you're on your business page, it'll say use Facebook as whatever your business page is. Then you do that, and then when you like another business page, you'll like it as the Women's Business Development Center or whatever your business page is. So if you want to like other business pages and you go away from your business page, make sure that you do this first, where you click edit page, drop down, use business as Women's Business Development Center, or your business name, obviously. So that's how you do that. How can I turn my Facebook page into my business name? So you can't turn a professional or a personal profile into a business page. You have to create a whole new Facebook fan page. And something you should know is when you do that, there's basically a little, is it on this one? Yeah. So everyone should see this create page along the side somewhere, or if you're on your news feed, it might be on your left-hand side. So when you do that, whatever name you give that business page will stay. You cannot change that name. So you really need to be sure that you want that name to be your business name. Something else to keep in mind, a lot of people will sometimes have multiple locations, and I always look at, well, what are the big businesses doing? Starbucks does not have, you know, they have like what, 1 million different Starbucks locations. They do not have 1 million different Starbucks Facebook pages. They have one centralized location that they share information about all of their products, services, and locations. So if there's something relevant to one location, it'll probably be relevant to the other. So just keep that in mind. You know, a way to show that you have multiple locations is put that in your About section. There's a local page that I follow that's called Dick Pond Athletics, and I think they have 6 different locations, but they list them in their About, and that works. It's fine, because also you need to think about, well, if I can sell it online, why would I want people going to 6 different Facebook pages to get to my one online center? So I just want you to keep that in mind when it comes to creating multiple pages if you're thinking about doing that. Okay, sorry, I'm just reading a couple of the questions. Oh, that was one of the questions I didn't realize. Should I have 2 separate pages? If it's two different businesses, yes. Say, for example, this woman Susan is a photographer and possibly doing a small business with social service agencies. Those are two totally different industries, two totally different businesses. So yes, you should have two different pages. But also, again, like for example with the social service agencies, keep in mind, what are you going to be able to post on there? Are you going to be able to post to both pages, keep them current, keep them relevant? You have to think about that and prioritize. The photography one, absolutely. Photographers do really well on Facebook. Even if it's just your friends or your fan, that's okay, because if it's your friends and family that you're pushing to like your page, that's okay, because they might know, everybody knows somebody. So even if your product or service is not relevant to that friend, their friend might want your product or service. So just keep that in mind. Don't feel like you're nagging. You know what? If it's your friend and family, they want what's best for you, so they want to recommend your product or service. So that kind of ties back into how do you combine your personal and professional. So yeah, I definitely recommend two separate for that. Do I offer workshops? Or I personally do. They haven't been laid out, but the in-person ones, like I said, will probably be in the summertime. So yeah, we haven't set them up yet, but that's probably when they will be, the in-person ones. And hopefully they're going to be a little more advanced than last year's, where it's, you know, I'd like you to come with having a business page possibly already set up. Myra asked, do you have to have a personal Facebook page to create a business page? I don't think you need to anymore. From what I could tell, a lot of times people do. And you should know, if you have a personal profile, no one knows that you own that page unless you want them to. So you can put on your professional one, you know, I forget what they call it, but like Facebook administrator or something, and you can put that. But again, that goes back to, do you want that connection? You know, it's okay for your family and friends to know that you have this page in this business, but it might not be okay for your business people to know that your personal life. So there really isn't a great connection between the two, so just keep that in mind. Should Facebook be used for a medical billing business? That is interesting. It's an interesting business. Well, I guess my question back would be, what can you post? What would be of interest to people? How would you engage people in your business? You know, I worked with a dental office back when I was in Indiana, and they worked really hard to give a personality to their dentist office and to give faces. So if you are willing to, you know, give the time and the energy, that's fine. And also you have to think of the legalities. I can't think of any medical billing businesses that do have a Facebook page. That I almost feel would be better off on LinkedIn. So I guess I would just think about where you can spend your time and could it be spent better somewhere else. So I can't say yes or no exactly. It's kind of on you as to whether or not that is something that you are willing to commit to and to provide content to. I'm just double checking that I've answered all of them. Okay, Jean asked, I have one company with two brands. Can I do a business page for each one, and then can I like them from each other? Yes. You can do a business page for each of them and then like them from each other. Yes, that's fine. And I think that's good in that situation. Well, I guess I would say, actually, are they complementary to each other? Because if they are, that would make sense for them to like each other. But in the case of the photography and the social services, maybe not necessarily they should like each other, but you can still recommend it to your friends and family, both of them, absolutely. But to have a random business page that your business page likes, it doesn't make a lot of sense for your consumers, and it might confuse them actually, especially if I were to, if your consumer were to arrive at your Facebook page and see that you like this other brand that doesn't complement the brand they landed on, they might become confused with what the original brand is and what the purpose is for that. These are really good questions, by the way, guys. I'm going to go back to the end slide here. Yeah, and if you come up with things later, my email is right there, so please feel free to email me. Like I said before, you will get a feedback survey at the end of this. And next week's webinar from 12 to 1 is on Twitter. And again, it's a free 1-hour webinar. And yeah, the survey will take you about five minutes, maybe less than. And you'll get all the slides from this to help you reference. So I'll wait another minute or so to see if anybody has any more questions. Okay, one of the questions, and I should have touched on this a little bit more, was connecting your Facebook and your website. So how do you add the icon? Basically, if you go to Facebook, well, if you Google Facebook icon, you're going to come up with pictures of it. But there's also, Facebook provides a little toolkit for business owners. So if you Google Facebook for businesses, it should be one of the top links that is up there. And they'll give you the actual legit Facebook icons that you can use with branding. And it's also something to keep in mind. We actually dealt with this here for printing. There are guidelines for if you're going to print the Facebook logo and the Twitter logo, you really need to look at those guidelines. Yes, you might be a small business and they might not actually come after you, but they could. And so just keep that in mind. But anyway, you take that icon, and I don't know if you're the developer of your website or if you have a developer, it's really easy to create it to be a hyperlink. And they just do a little HTML coding and they pop it in. So it's pretty simple. I can email you directions if you tell me whether or not it's you doing it or if you have a developer doing it. And also something to keep in mind on your website is having a feed from either your Facebook or your Twitter account coming through on your website. It's nice to be able to see that you're keeping relevant information continuously somewhere. So I would definitely recommend pulling that through. And again, if you just Google Facebook for Businesses, they'll show you how you do that, how you pull that feed from your Facebook to your website. So it helps people connect the two and make them push from your website to your Facebook and vice versa. So yeah, I highly recommend doing that. But also keep that in mind when you go to post things that it's going to show up on your website. So when you're posting pictures and that sort of thing, be conscious of that for sure. I see, is it Iram? You have a question? Okay. All right, well, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. So just look for that survey and please fill it out. We love to hear your feedback about things. And I hope that this helped you a little bit with your business and with your Facebook. So have a great Halloween, and I'll probably talk to you next week if you're coming for that.